Welcome to Let There Be Talk. It is a Monday, April 20th, and this is episode number 526, and it is brought to you by my incredible CBD sponsor, CBD Lion. I'm sure a lot of you out there are dealing with some anxiety right now during these insane times, and maybe you're having a hard time sleeping. Or maybe you've got some joint aches and pains, some slight tennis elbow or, wrist ache. I don't know. They got it all for you. CBD Lion. I use it. I use the topical lotions on my neck. I use them on my hands, my knees. And then to sleep at night, I go with the 5,000 milligram tincture. You know what I'm talking about? Under the tongue, knockout, sleep all night, pleasant dreams. CBD Lion, 100% clean, no GMOs. No GMOs, none of that truck stop junk. This is real clean CBD, third-party tested. Use the code DEAN for 20% off at cbdlion.com. Don't get your CBD anywhere else because these guys are fantastic. They sponsor the podcast, and they're great humans. I met them in Chicago at the show with Joey Diaz. We were there at the Chicago Theater. These guys are the real deal. cbdlion.com for all your CBD needs. You got pet tinctures if you got a lunatic pet. They got the vapes. They've got the gummies. All of it. Third-party tested. Clean CBD. Go to cbdlion.com. I wanted to do that right at the top because I want you guys to dive in to the sponsor. I know a lot of people can use that right now in this crazy time. Okay. I'll tell you what's going on today is I don't know exactly when I heard System of a Down. I can't really remember. It just seemed like somewhere along the way I started hearing them and I was like, what is that? Who is that? And realized, man, this is some heavy original. It was just mind-boggling to me. I was like, first of all, who signed this band? Who had that kind of vision, which was amazing. And then what's up with these monster heavy songs with crushing hooks? I saw this band. I've seen them a few times, but I saw them 5 years ago. I can't even believe it was 5 years ago already. Because it just seemed like it was about, I would say it felt like it was about 3 years ago to me. But I went and saw him at the LA Forum for the 100-year anniversary of the Armenian genocide. And I'll tell you what, they sold this thing out to the rafters. There was not a seat open in the place. And they absolutely destroyed it. And I still can see the concert in my head right now. I've been to the Forum zillions of times, and there are shows that stick out in my head. Temple of the Dog, the System show, and then the show I did with Burr. Those are just glued in my head, though. You know? Anyway, and you know how I love to have the drummers on. So what better guest to have than John Dolmayan himself, the drummer for System. And also he has a solo record out right now that came out in January that he did all on his own that is just smoking, called These Gray Men. And it's a covers record, and these covers are done fantastic. They do Street Spirit by Radiohead with M. Shadow singing from Avenged Sevenfold. The guy kills it on this. Tom Morello playing the solos on it. Serge doing David Bowie's Starman. This is a great, great record. It was really cool to talk to John because I had never met him ever. And I have loved the band for a long time. And to hear his stories is just fantastic. Like I said, I love Toxicity, and I didn't even know they wrote 44 songs for that record. You know how many songs that is for a record? I mean, most bands, they write like 15 songs, 12 make it to the record, and 3 go to the trash. These guys wrote 44 songs and put out a masterpiece that I think sold 9 million records. And it's always great to hear Rick Rubin stories, too. You know how I love Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin signed this band. He's produced all their records. Some more genius of Rick. Quick, and then I'll get to the episode. I want to give a big love shout out to my Patreoners. All kinds of new Patreoners here, and it's absolutely incredible the support I've been getting during this downtime. Eric Stowell upped his pledge. Thank you so much, buddy. Jed R. Bodone. Bodewin. I'm going with Bodewin. Jed R. Bodewin. Thank you, buddy. Keith Malcolm upped his pledge. Awesome. Bobby Dean Reynolds. Welcome, buddy. Look at this. Mini Horse donated 6.66. Little Sainton donation. All right. Drew Ramirez. Wes C. Jake Oswelski. Brian Spink. You are the man, Brian. I love you, buddy. Keith Thompson. Another fucking king coming in right there. Keith Thompson. Byron H. Welcome. What else we got here? Zachary Goodfellow. Matt Rock. Gene Paul Gaster. Awesome. I think somebody told me that's the drummer for Clutch. That's the truth, man. Thank you, buddy. Matt Wolf. Gregory Yachts or Jots. Robert Searles. And big love to Ryan Syfix for sending me some gloves. I love you, man. There I am. Another week of destroying names. I'm going to put this up. Before I do, I want to give a shout out to John Mayer, man. I just watched him. He's doing this show every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific, I guess, my time, Pacific time, on his Instagram Live. And it's damn good. And today he was playing songs off the Born and Raised record, and it was just fantastic. So thank you, buddy. I love you. He played one of my favorites on there. And I love all you guys. Okay, let's get into it. Thank you, guys. And don't forget, bonus episodes, 2 a week now. Patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. And don't forget CBDLion.com for all your CBD needs. Use the code DEAN. Here it is. Candles lit. Great guest today. Introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? This is John Dolmayan from System of a Down.
Man, I gotta tell you, dude, I saw the Forum 100-year anniversary of the Armenian Genocide show.
Yeah.
That was fucking fire.
Yeah, that was one of our better shows for sure. I mean, first of all, we played for almost 3 hours, which we never do.
It was insane.
You know, and also, especially because of the meaning.
Right.
Like the meaning behind the tour in general. We were playing with a little bit of a different intensity.
Yeah, you were gearing up to play in Armenia, right? Yeah, for the anniversary of that.
Correct, and that was a very special show as well. But just in general, because of the because of the personal meaning that the event had for us, being in LA where System was formed and started, and also keeping in mind that you have 4 band members that came to LA very differently, and happened to be of Armenian descent, met and made a band, formed a band, went out, put it out there, played, and then was actually signed. I mean, what are the chances of that? You know?
Oh, it's
Got to be in the billions.
It's so fucking mind-boggling. I was just talking to somebody about this a couple weeks ago. We were talking about your band, and it was Mikey at the Whiskey. And he was saying how I think he went to school with a couple of you guys, and he started booking like systems at the Whiskey and stuff. But I remember you guys years ago, you were doing the Coconut Teaser. You guys played there. Was it like the Dollar Night or whatever?
It may have been before I was in the band.
Right. Yeah, because they had a drummer before you got. Yeah, like early on.
I may have played there once. I don't remember. Is the teaser?
It's the one on the corner. Yeah.
I had played there once.
Yeah.
But they'd played there several times before I was in the band, and they had that pole in the middle of the dance floor area.
Yeah.
Where people would be pitting.
Yeah.
And sometimes smacking into a pole.
Take yourself out, man.
That's right. One way or the other.
I mean, to think about really what, and we don't need to really, like, pound on it, but for Armenian guys, getting a record deal is just unheard of in any landscape, even right now or back then. Back then, it was just like, you look at the 80s rock, it was like white dudes, with their hairdos. Then the 90s, it was just kind of like, alternative rock. And then here comes Systems, which you guys did something that nobody has done in a long time, have a complete original sound. It was just like, what is this? So, I mean, all of that stuff, it reminds me of growing up with Metallica. When they're playing, no way do you think they're going to become the biggest band in the world. They're huge to us, but you didn't think, it was such a small pocket.
Yeah, you don't think it's going to catch fire.
No.
Not necessarily, at least.
Especially with the style of System, it's just like, it's so radical. The first time I heard it, I went, this is amazing. What is this,
Well, I think a lot of people didn't really know how to understand or explain System. So it was one of those things where you weren't even sure if you liked it. People would come up to me after shows early in the very early days and be like, I don't really like your band, but I'm compelled to come over and over again. I was like, well, maybe I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's something weird.
I don't know if to take that as a compliment or what, but they go, but I keep coming and I'm drawn to it for one reason or another. And I like that because as opposed to like somebody just being like, yeah, you guys are okay. At least this person had strong feelings one way or the other. And I've always believed that when it comes to art, you got to have strong feelings about it. Otherwise, you don't want to be, in the category of the mundane.
Oh, that's the worst. When you ask somebody what kind of music they like and they just say, whatever. I'm like, well, we're not going to have anything in common just because you don't have any passion for some, Well,
I find that also when you're speaking to people about what they're really into, rather than tell you what they're really into, they're going to tell you what they think makes them look cool or makes them look like they're worldly or whatever the case may be, when really they just want to sit there and listen to whatever the band might be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the case a lot with, let's say, Tool or Radiohead or a band that's of the time, where people might not even know really what it is, but they don't want to look not cool.
Yeah, and they may not really even like it.
Right.
But they feel like it's more of an underground thing, and they should be into it, or they should understand it. It's a lot of the Emperor's New Clothes type mentality. And you know what that
absolutely, yeah.
Where people just go along with it, whether they get it or not, or whether they think it's good or not, just because other people that they might have respect for like it, and they want to be on the same level as those people, or at least seem cool.
Yeah,
I think that's fairly normal, common in human beings to try to want to fit in.
Now, when you joined the band early on, the other guy got hurt and he's out, and you come in. Was the other guy Armenian?
Yeah.
Wow.
Even more of a coincidence. Right?
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, was that like in the ad? Was it in like the Recycler wanted Armenian drummer?
No. So System's history, the way we all met, and I say we, the way I met the other guys was because there was a band called Soil. That,
Oh, I know Soil.
That Darren and Serge were in,
Yeah.
along with another guy named Dave Hagopian and another drummer. Dave played bass, and another drummer, Domingo. I don't know his last name. And basically, they broke up. And at that time, Dave was replaced by Shavo, and then they were looking for a drummer because their drummer had moved to Hawaii to raise a family. So they looked for a drummer. I think they went through the usual machinations of the recycler, back then.
Yeah.
Or just, friends and whatever. And then they found Andy Khachaturian, and he was their drummer for a couple of years. But they just never quite got along. He was a very good and talented drummer, but they never quite got along well enough. You know how important relationships are in the band.
Oh, man.
And at that time, my band, which was called Middle Earth, big Tolkien fan.
Yeah.
And then later we changed the name because like Lord of the Rings stuff was coming out, and I was like, oh, we're going to get sued.
Yeah.
So we just changed it to Freak, Friik, more like Frick. And we're looking for a bass player. And I knew Dave Hagopian from high school, ran into him at the gym or somewhere, and said, hey, we're looking for a bass player. He came and tried out. He was exceptional. And then he was still friends with the guys in System and kind of what became System. And, we were all broke.
Yeah.
So we got to know each other. We started hanging out, and then we decided to share studio space. For about a year and a half, we shared studio space. And I think in that time, because we were just watching each other rehearse, hanging out, going to each other's shows and all that stuff, being supportive. I think that, slowly but surely, the guys in System were like, we think John would be a really good fit for our band. And I had some conversations individually with them. But at the time, I was really uncomfortable leaving my band. And
Oh, it's so weird back then, right?
it's like your friend's girlfriend comes and says they want to be with you.
Yeah.
Like, how do you? In some ways, like if that's the person you're meant to be with, you just got to go for it, right?
Yeah.
But in other ways, you just feel an enormous amount of guilt.
Oh, yeah. You're leaving us. Dude, we had a brotherhood.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
I know it, man.
But I'd almost left that band anyway because they wanted to go pop, and I just wasn't into that.
Yeah. Who were you listening to at the time?
Pretty much what everybody was listening to.
Yeah.
Plus, like the 60s stuff, 70s stuff that I was still very much into. Some more progressive stuff too, like Alda Mula and
Oh, yeah. Steely Dan, you get into that stuff?
Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Steely Dan.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff, at the same time I was listening to metal, I was listening to, full 70s rock, you know?
Yeah, and me too. I always had a pretty wide range of what I was listening to. One day it might... Although, also, I listened to Pink Floyd The Wall every day for a year.
Wow.
So, that was one of those things where I just couldn't get out of that album.
Yeah.
For a good year. So it was all over the place. Anyway, long story short, Andy fucked his hand up, and the guys came and said, "Look, John, we need, we got labels interested in us. You gotta come join the band." And I was like, "Well, I don't really want to join the band, but I'll fill in until it gets better." And then the first rehearsal we had, it was just like,
yeah,
that's it.
Like, holy shit, this is it.
Because I sped up all their songs.
Oh yeah.
Their songs were a little slower before I got in the band.
Yeah.
But I tend to play ahead of the beat in general, and I have
pushing it,
and I felt like their songs were too slow, so I just sped them all up, and here you have System of a Down.
Who was sniffing around? Was it Tom Wally or who was it at Interscope that had this kind of vision for System? Because I mean, when you hear the band, it's not like right away you're like, oh yeah, here we go. You know what I'm saying?
Interscope actually passed on System.
Wow.
Before I had joined, there were already some substantial label interests, minor labels, and whatnot. Roadrunner was really into System, but it wasn't until Rick Rubin came to one of our shows at the Viper Room that the offer started coming in from the majors.
Oh shit!
Because once they saw Rick was into it, then everybody wanted it. Yeah.
I used to hear this trick that Rick would he would go see a band, and then other labels would be there, and they'd call and say, "Hey, Rick's here," and then the label would be like, "Just sign him, man." Or, So then I heard that Rick would go see shitty bands,
so they'd sign him.
Yeah, just to play games, and then
maybe we're one of them.
I don't think so, because he ended up working with it. But you know what I'm saying? Then slip out the back.
Yeah, that's funny.
But Rick comes to see you, and I mean,
we actually had a bad show.
Really?
He came to see us because it was one of those things where it was all label people, so our fans couldn't quite get in.
Oh, the worst, just stiff.
Yeah, it was kind of stiff, but we played pretty well for us. And right after the show, Rick came out and he was like, I was laughing through most of your set. He goes, I want to sign you.
Wow.
He was laughing because it was so irreverent
Yeah.
and different. And and Serge is jumping around and doing his thing, and the music is like way out there.
Way out there. I mean, Serge's vocals. I mean, the first time you heard it, where you're like, "What is this guy doing?" I mean, it's like very militant and radical. Wake up!
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, what the
staccato and operatic and
really rad.
Different. That's what differentiates System from a lot of other bands.
Oh, totally.
Not just the music, but also the syncopation, the way the vocals are sung, the lyrical content,
and the way you attack the drums. Almost a call and answer of the vocal, to me, it's like
I write my drums to the melody of the song,
right,
and kind of weave in and out of the vocals as much as possible. I'm not really like a drum and bass type drummer,
right.
My bass player and I are very well connected, but he's mimicking a lot of what the guitar player is doing anyway. So as long as I have the melody and the lyrics, I'll work something in and weave around it, but doing as much as possible without overwhelming. And it's kind of a whole balance thing that you have to explore.
It's radical, man, to hear it, because it's very original. Even as I'm listening to your new solo record here, loaded with covers, famous covers, immediately you have your sound. Like when you hear the Talking Heads song, it's like, oh wow, this sounds like it could be a System song, the way you guys did it. And that's what I love, when people would do covers where you'd be like, wow, this sounds like their band.
And also, is that an original song?
Right, because at first I threw it on, they didn't tell me it was covers, and I was listening, I go, hey, this sounds, I know this song. Am I wrong here? And then when Starman came on, I go, oh, he's doing covers.
Right, and that was kind of the goal.
Yeah.
Was to take these songs and just really approach them as if they were brought to me by the songwriter, and I was going over the arrangement with them, and as if it was a new song. That's how I approached it.
Yeah.
No offense to people that do covers exactly like the bands that they're covering, but what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been done.
We already have the original.
Especially when it's a masterpiece. Say like, the Radiohead song you do, Fade Out.
Street Spirit.
Yeah, Street Spirit. That
is a masterpiece.
That's a masterpiece. And I read somewhere that's your favorite Radiohead album. It's my favorite.
OK Computer, yeah.
OK Computer. I like
favorite.
I like the Bends the most.
A lot of people like that.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because when OK Computer came out, the time of my life, that I associate with it as well. But that's my favorite. But I love the Bends as well.
Yeah, I saw the Bends tour at the Fillmore, and it was just mind-boggling, because I didn't like the band with Creep. I was like, I think mostly because they just played it too much on the radio, and I was like, whatever with that band. But when the Bends came out, I went to see them, and I was like, oh, this fucking band is game.
Different.
Oh, different.
Yeah.
Systems, Radiohead, Rage Against the Machine, Tool. These are bands that are completely outside the box and have their own sound. No one sounds like System or Tool.
Nor do they sound like each other.
Not at all, man. And that was the beauty of kind of that.
That'd be a good tour.
It would be it'd be an insane tour. It'd be an insane tour. K-Rock really grabbed System, boy. They played the shit out of you guys.
Not originally.
When
we got signed and we released the album.
Yeah. Rubin signs you.
Right. And then we make the album, we release it. We sold 1,500 copies the first week, and I couldn't believe 1,500 people that I didn't know about the album.
Yeah.
So I was like ecstatic.
Yeah.
And then we toured for a good 8 months. And the record label actually did something very intelligent. They said, we feel like if we go to the radio right now, you'll fail.
Yeah.
The radio, because there's not enough groundswell.
Right.
We want you guys to get out there and tour. We're going to put the money behind touring. And we want you to develop an audience, because we feel like that's what's going to get you to the next level.
That's old school, how it's supposed to be done.
But nobody did that back when we got signed.
No, it was like video didn't happen, drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next album, drop.
Yep.
Right? But maybe it was because we were signed to Rick's label and it was with the major, but it seemed like the major, whoever was in the radio department, they just really got System. And they actually at some point took the album to Kevin Weatherly at K-Rock, who was basically like the guy that determines what gets played on the radio nationwide. And Kevin said, "I really like it. It'll never be played on K-Rock."
Wow.
6 months later, we had the number one song on K-Rock.
Hilarious.
So, and then after that, once we released Toxicity, we had the number one song on K-Rock for like a year.
Yeah.
Every day.
Aerials, man. I mean, when that record came out, I was just talking to a friend today about it. We were just talking about what a game changer that record was. Chop Suey, Aerials, those were like on the radio nonstop and heavy as fuck.
And on MTV as well.
Yeah.
We were getting 40 spins a week on MTV, which was like, it was us and Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
Getting 40. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was the absolute biggest pop band of the time. And then System of a Down, which, a lot of people say is the biggest underground band of all time.
Oh, man.
Rick Rubin actually coined that phrase.
I love this band, man. Live is just nuts.
Well, we're playing here in May.
Oh, where?
The LAFC, where the LAFC play.
Oh, yeah. I saw Maiden there.
Not the Honda.
Is that soccer place, the new one?
But it's in downtown.
Right, I saw Maiden there
the Honda Center,
a few months ago. Yeah, it's new.
Bank of California.
That's it, yeah. Whoa, man, I'm going to
We
that.
got 2 shows there.
Oh.
It's us, Faith No More, Korn,
oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Helmet.
Yeah.
And Russian Circus. That's a
lineup. Crazy bill.
It'll be good.
Yeah,
Massive Faith No More fan, too.
Oh, man.
And, of course, Korn.
When you guys do the first record, first of all, let's talk a little bit about working with Rick Rubin, because he is one of my all-time favorites, and I always hear either yay, 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 or nay, nay, nay on Rick, depending on which band I'm talking to. But there was a time where no matter what Rick worked on, I bought it. It could be Johnny Cash, it could be the Dixie Chicks, it could be System.
Right.
That's the trust I had in this man, and I know that he has a massive passion for music. When you first start working with him, were you like, hey, what's going on? This guy's not around, or was he around a lot hands-on?
I've only had him as a producer.
Yeah.
So I've got very limited experience, but he was always there. Especially, see, here's the thing. Rick's there for pre-production, right? He'll help you kind of wash out the little things that you don't need to do. He'll reestablish verses, choruses, that type of stuff, and help you expand on that melody especially. He was there for a good portion of that. And then he was there for the entirety of the drum tracking. And I think Rick believes the drum tracking is
the foundation.
One of the most important parts of the record.
Absolutely.
And then he disappears for bass and guitar overdubs. And then he comes back for vocals. So for us, we didn't know any different. Right?
Yeah.
There's other bands where the producer is like basically living at their house from the beginning of the process to the end. That just didn't really work for System anyway.
Yeah.
We didn't really need songwriting help. We had great songwriters in the band. We needed production help. We needed somebody that wasn't so inside the project to look at it from a different perspective and say, well, here, you're not seeing this because you're in there, right?
Yeah.
Try this and little things. And there were some songs where Rick heard it and he was like, perfect, let's record that, as is.
Yeah.
So it just depended on the song, but we had a very good relationship with Rick, still do, even though we haven't made an album since 2005. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met. And I get that experience hasn't been the same for every band, but, my wife was a bitch to a lot of people that she dated before me.
Yeah.
With me, she's different.
Yeah.
That's why we're married, and she didn't marry the other guys, right? So.
Well, I think that a lot of people look at Rick as like some kind of magic man, and then if their record doesn't sell, they're like, fuck him, It's funny because
you gotta have the songs.
You gotta have the songs, man. You gotta have the songs.
Can't shoot the gun without ammunition.
Yeah. That's the bottom line. That's why we're talking about your band right now, because you could just be easily a heavy band, but with no songs, and you guys had massive fucking hooks.
Well,
the hooks of these songs.
You know how there's 2 bands that I adore.
Yeah.
Metallica is one,
yeah.
and Slayer is the other.
Yeah.
And I feel like they had similar trajectories early in their careers. But what ended up differentiating Metallica from not only Slayer but from everybody else is that after South of Heaven,
yeah,
for Slayer, they didn't really have that much melody.
Yep.
Although South of Heaven had a lot of melody. Of course, Rick Rubin. Right?
Yep.
But Metallica got more and more melodic as they went on in their careers. Even though they were very heavy, they incorporated string instrumentation,
Yep.
acoustic guitar, stuff that wasn't typical for a heavy metal band of their era. And here you go. That's why they're Metallica.
Yeah, I mean, Sad But True is like one of the heaviest tunes ever. It's not super fast or anything, but it's just a punch in the face. But Nothing Else Matters is a masterpiece song also.
But even Justice. Like
that's my favorite Metallica record.
Master Puppets and Justice are my two favorites.
Yeah.
But if you listen to that album, they're just, aside from the fact that there's no bass.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Because
I feel bummed for Newsted.
I do too.
It was already tough enough for him replacing,
Cliff Burton.
Yeah, Cliff Burton, and who was a phenomenal bass player, and it's already tough enough for him. And then, can you imagine, like, you worked on that album and all that, and it comes out and you can't hear your fucking bass?
Yeah,
that's a huge insult.
It is, but at the same time, the record has this thing. It's like, whoa, this thing sounds like
nothing else.
Nothing else, man. It's like saw blades, man. The guitars,
it's almost transistor-y sound.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Yeah,
I can't help but feel bad though for Newsted.
Yeah. Now, when you guys, after you do the first record, then you go in, you're going to do Toxicity. Did you write the songs on the road, or were you in the studio writing the tunes? And did you guys know, wow, this shit is next level?
Well, our songwriting process isn't that collaborative.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everybody goes off, comes up with parts or songs or lyrics or whatever the case may be, and then we get together, and then the songs are presented to the band. And then we'll work on the material together at that point, and then some arrangement stuff changes, lyrics are added, parts are taken out, etc., etc. But we certainly weren't. We had no idea it would be, an 8 or 9 million album selling record.
Yeah.
We had no idea about that, but we always believed in what we were doing, and also we recorded 44 songs for that.
Wow.
record.
Really?
Yeah.
44 songs? Holy shit, where are those tunes? Did they make it on to the next couple records?
Some of them became Steal This Album.
Right.
And then we still have some that we've never released.
Wow.
I may never, I don't know. But because we had so much to choose from, we were able to craft an album.
Yeah.
So, for example, like, there's songs that I wish would have been on there. Inner Vision, which was on Steal This Album, was one of my favorite songs, The Process. But I got outvoted on that. And for whatever reason, the rest of the guys didn't feel like it fit the vibe and flow of the album.
Right.
So we were actually able to create something that flowed from song one to the end. And that was...
Yeah. A thread, man.
Massive. It became a massive album for us.
That's what a lot of great records have. They just have this thread all the way through. And I love the cover, too. The artwork. It's just so cool, dude.
It's Hollywood.
I know. And it just looks great.
I have that sign at my house.
You do?
Not my house, sorry. It was on Tower Records. They put
big sign. Yeah, I love those.
So they were going to throw it away. So I said, you know what? Take it to Vegas. Put it in my warehouse.
Oh.
So I have a warehouse in Vegas for my comic books and stuff.
Yeah.
I can still have it on the wall.
Now you were born in what, Beirut, and then moved to Canada, and then California. Like, I talk about it, like, one of my best friends, Garo Artunian, is Armenian, and I didn't know anything about Armenians ever until I moved to LA. I grew up in the Bay Area. I never.
Well, there's a reason why you didn't know about it.
Yeah,
because they were part of communist Russia.
Right.
So, and Turkey was an ally and has been an ally of the United States. And up until recently, Congress and the Senate basically denied the Armenian genocide because Turkey being an ally and in a prominent place in the Middle East, it was more important for us to keep them as good friends rather than pursue justice or pursue the reality of our past.
Right.
So, because of that, not too many people knew what Armenians were. They just assumed we were Russian.
Yeah.
And then, with the fall of the Soviet Union and Armenia gaining independence, slowly but surely, people started to know, like, its oldest Christian race, an ancient culture, like the oldest shoes in the world were of Armenian origin.
Oldest shoes, huh?
Oldest shoes ever discovered.
Wow.
An ancient culture. Also, one that's gone through a lot of turmoil, being where it is, part of the Roman Empire at one point. You know, a rich history.
Yeah.
And you know, when we came out, people didn't know what the hell we were.
Right.
And it was about educating. This is before like Kim Kardashian and all that came
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
You know, where we're playing, you know, Alabama, and people are like, "What's an Armenian?"
Yeah.
You have to
Were you
explain to
getting
them.
some pushback, racism and stuff?
No.
No.
You know, our first tour was with Slayer.
Oh, wow.
And
Great.
after that,
Yeah.
you know, after you play in front of a Slayer crowd,
Yeah.
everything else is easy.
Yeah.
And they were very accepting of us and very supportive, and people were super nice to us. And, you know, like complimentary in that they would actually listen, you know? Because
Yeah.
Slayer audiences can be brutal.
Oh, my God,
you know,
yeah.
so
Oh, I seen it. I grew up with Slayer shows, man.
and Tom Araya came up to us and said, I mean, you guys have had probably the best reaction of any band.
Wow.
That's unknown that's ever opened for us. And they would watch us every night. They were so good to us and supportive and nice people. And I missed them dearly, and I miss Jeff, who passed away.
Yeah.
You know, he's such a good guy.
So brutal.
Would share music with us and come hang out with us. You know, here's this little band traveling around in an RV.
Whoa.
And, you know, I mean, I wore out my South of Heaven record. That was my favorite one.
So great.
You know, so... And we got to know Lombardo as well at the time. He used to
He's
come to our
great.
shows. He's a sweet guy. And Bosstaff, of course, was a very nice guy and great drummer. But our first tour in the U.S. was with them, and then they took us to Europe as well, and it was us, Slayer, and Sepultura.
Wow.
And what a great trio that was.
Oh, my God.
Great
yeah.
experience for us.
Yeah. When you first start playing drums, I read somewhere that Keith Moon was your guy, and of course John Bonham. But when I listened to it, your playing does have a Keith Moon kind of thing to it, where there's not like just a 4 on the floor kind of thing.
You got to throw Neil Peart in there too.
Neil Peart, yeah. Oh my God, long live that king.
Wow.
But early on, when you get your first kit, are you just playing like Rush songs and Who songs and stuff? How are you getting it going?
I actually didn't know of those bands at that point.
Yeah.
Because I was 15.
Yeah.
And I listened to K-Rock a lot. So I would just put on K-Rock and play along to whatever came on. And then slowly but surely I would start discovering music. And also I had my dad's catalog of jazz records. So I played a lot to early Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Stan Getz, Dave Brubeck.
Yeah.
Maynard Ferguson was a big influence to the Carnival album.
Yeah.
And it was like I couldn't play it, right? Like it was too complicated, and it was just working 3-4 hours a day trying to figure out what they were doing piece by piece. There was no YouTube or anything.
No.
You know, I just had to listen to it over and over again, and just like, but my body wasn't cooperating because the muscle memory wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And it was just, but you made so many strides, right? In the beginning, it's easy to get better. And when you've been playing for 30 years, it's harder to get better.
Right. You hit a ceiling.
Yeah, and you have to put in so much effort to get like, you know, fractionally better that you just can't do that and then have the family and do other things.
Yeah.
So like other things take the focus.
I noticed that. I know you like Stuart Copeland, and I noticed that some of your snare tones on the records over the years were kind of Police-ish to me. You know, kind of that Ghost in the Machine kind of era sound and kit. When you were in the studio, were you trying to get some kind of tones that you were into, like say Stuart Copeland or Neil or anybody?
No, I think I was just trying to really have my own sound.
Yeah.
You know, something that was unique to me. But I've always believed that that's just about the way you play.
Absolutely.
Like you could have 10 different drummers play on one drum set, and they're all going to sound different.
Yeah. Same with guitar, man.
Yeah,
I seen Billy Gibbons play a $2 guitar, and he sounds just like when he's playing a '59 Les Paul.
Correct. And I find that to be the case with really talented musicians. That they're going to have their own sound, and no matter what they're playing, it's called an instrument for a reason.
Yeah.
You're the conduit,
Yep.
and that instrument is just a way for you to express what's inside you.
What was your first kit? Like CB 700 or something?
Maybe it was a CB 700. It could have been I think my dad got me a Rogers kit that is.
Oh, Rogers.
Yeah.
Those are classics.
It was a classic. It was a 60s kit. I played that for a little while. Then I got this beautiful Ludwig set from Guitar Center. Played that up until System. That was the drum set that I had when System got signed.
Wow. What were you a Ludwig guy? I mean, a lot of guys back then were playing Tama, you know, like say Dave and Lars. But were you a Ludwig guy just because of like old school, like everybody, like, you know, Alex Van Halen, old school dudes were Ludwig.
So for me, it was, you know, Keith Moon played Premier,
Oh yeah,
and then Bottom played Ludwig.
yeah.
But Pert played like DW, and then before that, what did he play before that? I can't remember. Maybe it was Pearl or something. So I liked all the different drums. I got the Ludwig because it sounded great.
Right.
But then when we got signed, I bought a DW. And I recorded the first record with the DW with a Premier snare.
Wow.
That whole drum set got stolen while we were on the road with Fear Factory.
Oh man, out
All our
of the
equipment.
motorhome or whatever.
I have nothing from the first record, man.
Wow.
Yeah. The only thing that survived the first record was a cymbal that I had cracked that I gave to somebody at the label. She still has it, so that's kind of cool that she still has it. But we have no historical documentation as far as musical instruments from the first album.
Oh, Darren's guitars, all that.
All stolen. Bro.
Whoa, was
everything
it
he played
just
on
a
the
trailer gone?
in Philly? You know, obviously inside job.
Yeah.
You get to the hotel. It's a band truck full of stuff, and they probably sold it for peanuts. You know, but it's gone.
Fuck.
Long gone.
That's nuts. You guys, over the years, have had kind of some ups and downs. What is it all really geared around? Is it Serge not wanting to do it anymore?
I think it's just ego, man.
What's that?
It's ego. You can't put shit in the past.
Right.
You can't get past it.
Yeah.
To work together and go forward. You know, my philosophy has always been like a kind of a football team philosophy. If I'm the best offensive line and you're the best quarterback and the other guy's the best receiver, and you work together, you're gonna win.
Yeah.
You know, but if the wide receiver wants to be the quarterback and the quarterback wants to be the offensive line, you're not all doing what you're best at, then you have a very good chance of failing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, or at least not being as good as you can be.
Yeah, that chemistry too is so hard to get between four guys that when you get it, it's like you're not going to get it with some other guys. It's so hard to even get that.
If you remember the Bohemian Rhapsody movie that came out about a year ago,
Yeah.
There's a scene where, you know, he's making his own album, his solo album without the band.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, and then he meets with the band. And he's like, they did exactly what I wanted. They're exceptional musicians, but there was nobody saying that part sucks.
Yeah.
Push that. Do this. You know.
All yes men.
There's no collaboration, and I think that that's easier for some people than it is for others. I personally prefer having a 7-hour argument over a part because that's how passionate I am about it, and that's how passionate you are about it. Until we figure out a compromise. But if you're just working with people that are just gonna do whatever you want because you're giving them a check,
Yeah.
then you're really the only thing you're compromising is your music at the end of the day.
Man.
So as much as I think all the side projects are cool and fun, they'll never compete with System.
No.
They don't have the same relationship.
Yep. And man, the fans just love this band. I mean,
They've been very loyal to us, even though we haven't produced for them since 2005. So if
Yeah.
you think about it, that's 15 years.
Any talk of doing a record?
I find it very unlikely. I'm not even sure I want to do it anymore.
Really?
It's just so much drama and bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, in a lot of ways, I'm just over it, you know, because I fought really hard to get us to make an album
Yeah.
over the course of the last 15 years. More than anybody else, I was like calling people, let's get together, let's put the egos aside, let's have meetings, whatever it takes, let's get in the studio. Let's just get in the studio and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just couldn't get it done. I failed.
Wow. That can be so frustrating, especially in a fan's point of view. They're like, wait a minute, you guys can't just get together, but sometimes you just can't do it.
You know, relationships break up all the time. You know?
Yeah.
That's with one person. Tried having it with 4.
Wow. Is it really between Darren and Serge, or what's going on with that? Or
It's not just Darren and Serge.
Right.
It takes 4 people to make this band, and it takes 4 people to unmake it.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that we're all to blame. I could just blame Darren and Serge.
Yeah.
You know, because quite frankly, they're the primary songwriters.
Yep.
So it's easy to blame them. But it's not just their fault. A lot of it is their fault, but it's not just their fault.
So you guys are going to tour what is that vibe like? Are you guys actually like friends when you're out, or is it I'll be over here on my bus, or what's that about?
Everybody pretty much does their own thing.
Yeah.
But that's been the way it's been since day one.
Right.
So it's not like that changed. But I don't know. For me, it's very odd where we can like put our differences aside to go on tour, and we're, having a great time on stage. We have a blast on tour, and then it's like, okay, well, you can put it aside for that, but you can't put it aside for me. Listen, I'm as confused as other people are. Man.
Yeah.
I'm more frustrated than everybody else.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because at the end of the day, this is it. This is what my life's work is.
Yeah.
And as much as I enjoyed making the covers album, and I'm glad people are digging it, it's getting a pretty good response, and it was a lot of fun to make, but I don't want to have time to make a covers album.
Yeah.
I want to be so immersed in System of a Down and the creative process of System of a Down that there just isn't even time for me to do that.
Yeah. It's it is a bummer because when I saw you guys a few years ago, what is that now? It's like 4 years ago when this
2015.
Fuck, 2015 was that show at the Forum?
Yeah.
Fuck,
that's
man.
1915 was the Armenian genocide, so that's the 100-year.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw that, I was just kind of like, oh, this band needs to keep rolling, especially in this political climate right now, man. I mean, bands like Rage, they're going out, and
Well, Tool finally made an album.
Tool finally. And that was like some kind of weird, I don't know, lawsuits over artwork and all that. I don't know what all that stuff was.
They got their own, a lot of the times the lead singer.
Yeah.
I don't know what their personal situation is, but for us, it isn't just the lead singer. We just have certain things that people just can't get over to make it work. And also, at the end of the day, certain people are better at things than others. And it goes back to the football mentality.
Yeah.
Let the quarterback be the quarterback, man. We all win. We all get the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
I know. I hear you, man. You're living out in Vegas now, huh?
Yeah.
How you liking that? A lot of rock guys moved out there.
Yeah, it's nice, bro. It's a lot more affordable than LA. We were talking about house prices a few minutes ago.
Yeah, Corey Taylor's out there.
Yeah, he's out there. And the vibe's good out there, bro. There's nice people.
Yeah.
It's a little bit slower paced. And again, it's more affordable.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, California has such stupid policies.
Yeah.
It makes it impossible to live here almost, And it's certainly very difficult to try to run a business here.
Yeah.
I feel bad for people that have small businesses in California.
Well, that's definitely crazy, right? And then, all the taxes and stuff too, like the gas. I tour like you tour. Every weekend I'm somewhere and I'm like, wait, gas is $1.98 here. Why am I paying $4.50?
It's all our taxes that we put on the gas.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't cost, it costs less to ship it to, it costs more to ship it to the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
The refineries are here.
Totally.
But we pay a lot more for it because of all the stipulations and taxes that we have on it. But, it is a great state.
It is.
And it's a privilege to live here, but I think that they're making it very difficult for the common person who's just living their daily life and eating hand to mouth and paying their rent to survive here. It's certainly very difficult for them to make any headway or start a business or do something like that. And on top of that, you have a homeless problem.
It's beyond.
It's beyond a problem. It's completely out of hand.
Yeah.
And you have, I have a lot of opinions on California, which I don't like. And I think the propositions are a really bad idea because they're not simple and easy for people to understand, which means you have to be basically a lawyer to go through all the mumbo jumbo before you figure out to vote on it or not. And they just put out ads that have like a small part of it that might be something you like, and then you vote on it. Meanwhile, you're voting away your own rights.
Yeah, that was the thing when I was a kid, Prop 13. I think there's still a spill out from that. I still don't even know what it was, but I know in the 80s that thing came around, and I'm not like a politics guy, but all of a sudden I know that like school arts funding was gone and stuff like that. And you're like, what's going on here?
They're selling you some positives with the right hand, but they're taking away things from you with the left, and that's a problem. We have a very convoluted system here in California. Vegas is a lot easier, but of course there's less people to manage, so it makes it easier.
No taxes out there, right?
No state taxes.
No state
I'm
tax.
Still paying federal.
Right, but no state tax.
Well, you're paying taxes no matter what, bro.
Yeah.
Every time you eat, drink, do anything.
Yeah,
You know, you got a property, you're paying taxes.
yeah.
They get it. They get it all from you back at the end of the day, anyway.
Yeah. Now, I see you got a Submariner on. You're a watch guy. I'm a watch guy.
You know, this is the first watch I bought since I was 16. I had a Swatch watch.
Yeah, remember that? I had dual swatches.
Yeah, so I bought this, I don't know, like 2 years ago. And I actually enjoy looking at it and seeing what time it is.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the phone or something digital.
Yep.
You know, it's nice to be able to look if the shit hits the fan and we go back to like a different kind of life. You're going to have to figure out what time it is by looking at the sun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like, it's nice to have some of these things just in case the shit does hit the fan one time.
Yeah. Are you a car guy?
Yeah, I like American muscle cars.
Yeah.
And I have a Ford GT.
Oh, rad.
And I actually got the new one coming in.
What?
Yeah.
You got a Ford GT?
Well, I got the 2005 GT.
Yeah, I love that one.
And then I just ordered the 2020.
Whoa.
That's where my money goes, man. It's comics and toys and the family. You know?
Wow. Now, what's the 2005 one like?
Have you not seen a picture of it?
I've seen it, but I mean, what's it like to drive it?
It's a real muscle car.
Yeah, I know.
It's not these like 6-cylinder turbo boosted cars now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real like 8-cylinder muscle car, but it's a massive engine and
Yeah.
you know really bad on gas. But what a car!
Oh, yeah. Man, I love cars, man. You got to go out to dream racing out there, dude. Where you can, I go all the time. You can drive Ferrari Pistas, Porsche, GT2s.
Yeah, and I love Range Rovers.
Yeah.
So I got like the 600 horsepower Range Rover.
Wow.
And that thing's a monster, bro.
Yeah.
I took out a Mercedes was trying to get cute the other day. So I had to like put the boost on.
Let's talk a little bit about the solo record now.
Sure.
I really like the solo record, actually.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I put it on last night, and, I was never a fan of M. Shouda's band. What's his band called?
Avenged Sevenfold?
Yeah, I just never... there was something to it. The tunes just don't grab me.
They get a bad rap.
Yeah.
Some good music there.
I didn't hate on them or anything. I just kind of like,
I just think, I don't know why Avenged Sevenfold gets a bad rap.
Right.
But they get killed in the press
Yeah.
for some reason. And let me tell you, man, I've listened to their records.
Yep.
You don't have to like every song, but like there's some songs that are on there that are really beautifully written.
Yeah.
Melodic songs and interesting. And the guys in the band, dude, they're so nice.
Oh,
Such
yeah.
good people.
I mean, this guy crushed
it.
Crushed this Radiohead song. I watched the video last night, too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom Morello plays the outro solo on
Yes.
it. And the recording of this, you guys did it over at Dave Grohl's studio. It fucking sounds great.
Well, that was the first. Well, he bought that board.
Yeah.
When Sound City went out of
Oh,
business.
I love that movie,
So-
yeah.
And that was the board.
Yeah, the old Neve board.
I never knew why they didn't ask us to be on that documentary because we played on that in that room on that board. Our first record.
Oh, wow. Is that where you did the first record?
Yeah, Sound City.
Wow. That studio is so classic. I mean, Rage.
And it's gone now.
Yeah,
but-
Dio.
Well, I heard it came back.
I did too. I heard that too. Yeah. Did you do the next record there also?
Cello.
Oh, oh, wow. Wow.
Toxicity was in cello.
Wow. Now, so do you record this, it's 8 songs, covers. Do you record it all in a couple weeks, or was it over a period of time when people could come in and do it? How did you do this record?
The drums were recorded in like 4 days.
Right.
And then it's a matter of scheduling for people.
Yep.
So we had the basics. We did overdubs and stuff, and then whenever I could get somebody, and there's about 15 songs total that I recorded, but couldn't get some of the singers to even respond. And these are people I've known for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And it was a little off-putting because I would never have treated them that way.
Yeah.
There's some guys that I was friends with, and they never even responded. I was like, hey, man, just tell me you don't want to do it. That would've been fine.
Pretty easy, right? You just go, sorry, dude, I'm swamped.
Just be a man.
Yeah, people ghost, man. That's weird where they're just like afraid to say, no, I can't do something or whatever.
I don't really subscribe to that. And
I don't either.
I didn't appreciate it. And there's people I haven't talked to since because of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a very sensitive guy.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. Same here. I'm the same
I
way.
get personally offended very easily.
Yeah. I'm like, hey man, I'd much rather have people in the business say, nah, we don't like
Hey,
that.
how about I'm just not into it?
Yeah, that's
And I
it.
would be like, cool, man. Thanks for listening
It's
to
that
it.
easy.
You don't have to like everything, man. There's 31 flavors for a reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like if you don't like chocolate, what the hell do I care?
Yeah. So you recorded it and then you get it all done and it came out in what, November? When did this come out? January?
28th actually. Came
Yo,
out the
oh,
28th
wow.
last month.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking...
It was a long road, bro. It took like 4 years, but I had 2 kids, you know, and it takes time to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And it was just me. You know, I had to do everything. Like get everybody together, go do the string instrumentation.
Yeah.
That's what it's so nice to have a band
Oh,
where you could depend on other people to do stuff, and you can enjoy that process and add to it
yeah.
and benefit from it ultimately.
Are you a big AC/DC guy?
I like AC/DC. I don't know if I like it as much as a lot of people do.
Yeah. I was just asking because I'm doing this Bon Scott tribute and I hear you. I'm doing all the stuff for it, and each year I do it. I'm like, God, this is the last one.
It's just like at a certain point, you got to have a quality of life.
Yeah.
I want to spend time with my kids.
Yeah.
You know,
How many kids you got?
I got 2 so far.
Are they playing music?
Well, they're only 4.5 and 1.5.
Right.
I'm sure they'll, if they want to,
Yeah.
we'll make it available for them if they want to. But it's too early to tell yet. But I just want to spend time with them and hang out and be a dad and still do things that are, you know, that feed my artistic needs.
Yeah.
So what I've kind of done, because music just isn't getting it done for me, because system's stupid,
Yeah.
you know, is I started writing a comic book called Essentia.
Oh, that's rad. So you're a comic book guy.
I'm a big comic book fan,
Right.
and now I'm actually writing a comic book.
Whoa.
That's coming out in July.
No shit. Now, what is the
Premise?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the premise is that there's you ever seen the movie Armageddon?
Oh yeah.
So while I was watching Armageddon, the inspiration of the story came out. There's an asteroid that comes out of a rift in space.
Yeah.
And we discover it, and we're like, what the hell? It's coming towards the Earth. It's like twice the size of what took out the dinosaurs. So it's going to be total extinction. And the panic ensues. But then after a while, like a euphoric sense comes about people, and they're like, we're going to die. We always knew we were going to die. Life is not infinite. But now we have an opportunity to live for like the year and a half we have left until this thing impacts Earth.
Yeah.
Let's really live.
Oh,
So like all religious differences go away. There's no more borders. People are just getting along, and they're like spending time with each other and enjoying themselves and truly living the way we should live. you
Yeah.
know? But our fears make us not live that way. You know.
Yep.
And then like 2 weeks out, when this thing's going to impact Earth, it explodes into billions of pieces.
Oh.
We have no idea why. Keep in mind, we don't know why it's coming at us in the first place. So then what ends up landing on Earth is a basketball-sized sphere of an almost metallic metal, liquid metal, you know. We send scientists and everything to investigate this thing. While investigation is taking place, there's a helicopter bringing in supplies, and the cable snaps, and like a pendulum swings one way or the other, and the helicopter crashes. So then there's an explosion. That explosion throws this guy that's working on the ground like 25 yards. He's getting up, he's lacerated, his arm's broken. He's trying to steady himself, and he puts his hand up, touches the orb, and instantly turns into an infant. So there's a pile of clothes there, and there's this 2-month-old baby that was just seconds before this man. This
Right.
40-year-old man.
Wow.
So other people are like, what's going on? And the baby looks up and speaks, because it's still the same person.
Yeah.
So what we discover is, for whatever reason, there's properties in this orb that make you younger.
Oh man, the fountain of youth.
So the closer in proximity you are to it, the faster you decrease in age.
Wow.
And if you touch it for too long, you can actually turn to sperm and egg and cease to exist.
Yeah. Oh shit.
So this guy touched it just long enough.
Yeah.
But his memory and everything is still there. So it's still him. So now the story is set 150 years in the future. It's called Essentia because the city is called Essentia. And it's like the most expensive real estate ever. And really the crux of the story is, what would you do if you had the opportunity to be immortal? You know,
yeah.
Who would you betray? who would you abandon, and what would you do to stay there?
That's
what it's
wild,
about.
right?
Yeah.
Like-
There's a lot more to it, but that's
Right.
like the crux. You know,
That's a wild theory too. What would you do if you were immortal?
what would you do to be immortal?
Right, yeah. But
I have
also,
kids,
once
right?
you're immortal, though, and
Yeah.
you know you're going to live forever, that's kind of bizarre, too.
But you also have to maintain like your residency there.
Yeah,
So you have to, unless you buy your way in. So like an apartment like this that we're in right now
yeah.
would be like $2 billion.
Yeah, oh, shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who can afford to be there? But let's say you're a scientist who's been given residency there. If you don't perform, they kick you out. They bring in somebody else.
Yeah.
Then you will eventually die, right? So imagine like if you're a scientist, you're looking for anybody else's work to plagiarize or steal and make it your own so you could maintain your residency.
It's wild.
So like it really just attacks human nature and
So are you having somebody draw it and you're writing it?
yeah, I'm writing it. I've got artists that are here. I'll show you a couple of the covers.
That's rad. How many comic books you own?
Millions.
Millions?
Yeah.
Whoa. Just fucking warehouse of comic books? Now,
Several.
do you have a store?
I do. In Las Vegas, it's called Torpedo Comics.
That's cool.
Then I have one in Orange County as well. So here's some of the covers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
So these guys are actually 170 years old.
Wow.
Kids. That's their
The one
body.
guy looks like Shavo.
It does a little bit.
Yeah, right?
That's a cover.
Wow, that's great.
It's different vibes. It comes out in July. It'll
Wow.
be available pretty much everywhere, any comic book store. And
Yeah,
I'm doing, it's just under my own company. I'm publishing it myself.
that's great.
So I figured, like, you know, we got 100 million fans out there worldwide. What do I need a publishing company for? I'll just do it myself.
What do you guys sold? 40 million records?
It's in that range.
Jesus. 40 million, dude.
I know, man. I'm telling you, bro. I couldn't get 40 people to come to my shows back in the day.
Oh, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So there were a lot of shows where it was my girlfriend and the bartender.
Yeah.
That's what we played to. You know?
I see it with comedy too. I'm constantly like, God, just come. I'm here in Nashville. Come to the show. You know, you've been wanting me to come now. Oh, babysitter. Oh, job. Got to get up
It's
early.
another thing where it's such a sad thing that here we have this great down.
Yeah.
We just can't get out of our own ways to make it work.
Oh man, it sucks so bad, dude.
It does suck.
Are you a comedy fan? Shavo is. He comes to the store all the time.
Yeah, he's a bigger comedy fan than I am.
Yeah.
I like watching comedy at home.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable there, and
Yeah.
if it's not good, I just turn it off.
Yeah. Well, fuck, man. I'm out in Vegas a lot. I gotta have you come down to a show.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. And are you fired up for the Raiders out there?
I am. I think it's going to be great for the city.
Yeah.
I'm a Buffalo Bills fan by nature, but
Oh yeah.
but I'm supporting the Raiders. I got my Raiders license plate on my car.
Rad.
So
Kerry King's out there now. You see Kerry?
Kerry lives in Vegas. Oh,
Yeah.
I got to get in touch with him.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't know he lived out there.
Oh yeah. Hook up with him and jam with that guy.
He's such a good guy, bro.
Oh, love that guy.
Real sweet guy.
Well, thanks for doing the show,
My
dude.
pleasure, bro.
And the record is what is it? The Gray Men?
These gray men.
These Gray Men. It's fantastic. It's covers. He's got all kinds of great people playing on it. Tom Morello's on it. Serge Singh's on it. Who else is on this?
It's a bunch of friends from different bands.
Right.
One of them is in a Brazilian band called Ego Kills Talent.
Yeah.
Kill Talent. Sorry, not Kills. You're going to be hearing about them.
Yeah.
They're coming. They're going to be a big band.
Man, I liked it a lot. And did you put it out yourself, or is it what's it coming out on?
Yeah, I just put it myself.
That's great, man. I love that.
I didn't do it to make money.
Yeah, yeah. You just do it because you're going crazy.
I'm probably going to lose like $100,000 on it.
Oh fuck.
But I needed it, man. I needed
Yeah.
to put something out.
Yeah.
You know, Systems just kills you.
When's the tour start?
For System, it starts in May 22nd, 23rd in LA. Then we have 1 month in Europe.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'll come see it, and I'll hit you
Sound
up
good.
when I'm in Vegas. I'll be there in April for a week.
Okay, sweet.
Maybe we'll go drive some cars.
You see my GT?
Oh God,
You might be able to see both of them by then.
I gotta see that, dude.
I
Oh,
have the other one shipped up there.
oh yeah. All right. Well, did you see Ford versus Ferrari?
Loved it, bro.
Loved it, right?
Great. I saw it twice in 2 days.
What a great film, huh?
Amazing film. Christian
God.
Bale, bro.
I just love that guy, Ken, man. That guy was an outlaw.
Yeah.
He was an outlaw, and
Very
he,
sad, right? Like,
oh God, sad. But his passion for racing, is just it was.
there's also a really good documentary about it that goes a little more in depth.
Oh, yeah?
On Netflix.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah,
I gotta
it's very
watch
good.
that.
Very
Yeah.
good.
All right. You got an Instagram or anything?
Yeah, it's John Dolmayan on Instagram.
Well, thank you, man, for doing the show.
My pleasure.
And I got to tell you, your band is one of the most potent live bands I've ever seen. It's up there with Rage. It's as far as like when I see it, I go, holy shit, or AC/DC back in the day.
We'll take the Pepsi challenge against anybody, bro.
Yeah, you guys murder, dude. Oh man, it was great. Well, thank you for doing the show.
Thanks a lot,
And get out there and check out this incredible his solo record, man. The covers are great. There's a great Bowie version, Starman, and it's really kick-ass, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes and hit the Patreon channel, patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. Candles lit.